first up, the state of North Carolina has many people scratching their heads as a jury awarded $10 million to a white former health executive for reverse discrimination. According to Fox 46 Charlotte, Duvall, a white man, was the senior vice president for marketing and communications at Novant for 5 years when he was fired and replaced by 2 women, one a racial minority. During a diversity and inclusion initiative in 2018 that included explicit goals to remake the demographics of Novant's senior leadership. According to his attorney, a jury in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Charlotte, North Carolina Division decided that Duvall, stating in court records that Duvall proved that his race, Caucasian, and or his sex, male, was a motivating factor in Novant's health decision to terminate him. So he's saying he lost his job because he was a white man. Ladies, please weigh in on this. Does diversity include white people, first thing? And how seriously do you think companies take complaints of discrimination?
I mean, let's be clear. He just got $10 million, right? I feel like there's some checks waiting to come our way because how many times we did not get the job? How many times we weren't the ones chosen?
Yes.
Is there a check coming? Because we should have one. I think what's interesting is that the fact that it's a woman, the fact that it was a black woman as well, is really interesting. But I don't know if diversity includes white people because the whole diverseness is normally for urban, Asian, Hispanic. I don't know if it includes it. Like,
well,
I really had a hard
you.
time trying to figure that out.
Well,
Marcel,
diversity means... Go ahead.
I was like, Lonnie's either gonna tell us, or I have the textbook dictionary meaning. So the practice or quality of including or involving people from a range of different social and ethnic backgrounds and of different genders, sexual orientations, etc. So it's different. That is the point. So I don't see white as being included in diversity.
Saying.
No, because if it's different, it depends on what the majority is. So
right.
if you hire and the majority, look.
But in this case with this company.
In this case with this company,
that's where diversity
is what, there's 2 problems here. One is not reverse discrimination, it's just discrimination. Okay, you get discriminated, you get discriminated.
Right.
Number 1, they hired 2 women to replace 1 man. I got a problem with that. Number 2...
Because 1 woman could have done the job.
Exactly.
It doesn't take 2 women
that tells you about
to do...
inequality. That, we ain't gonna get on that, okay? But also, this is diversity through firing instead of diversity through hiring. That is the main problem.
Yeah.
So, of course, this man has a right because he was actually over the marketing. If you look at his pedigree was great.
Yeah.
You know, they could not give in the court files, they could not give an excuse of why. They just said, "Oh, we're gonna let it be known." So you're gonna have cases like this
come up
if you don't hire diverse. You can't fire diverse in the first place.
You can't fire someone in order to bring in diversity, is what you're saying. You're saying add to the situation, don't take away from the situation.
When we had affirmative action, this is when we were actually diversifying our corporations.
Yeah.
Now they're trying to figure out ways to do it. And so they're gonna have these issues of people getting sued and getting a lot of money because you can't do that.
Right.
Any court of law is gonna look at them and go, no, you cannot do that.
I think a lot of people are about this specifically because how many times have we seen Latinos, Asians, Black people that are minorities complaining about, you know, the exact same thing. I ain't seen none of them get $10 million.
Right.
Well, it was a case, it wasn't about hiring, but it was a black employee from Tesla, got the $137 million for racial discrimination. So
that is good to know.
It's happening.
That is good to know.
Happening.
And it's gonna keep happening.
Because I think it's important for people to hear that because I didn't know that. And I think a lot of the times, especially as minorities, we're afraid to speak up because we're afraid that if we say, I felt that, you know, somebody was discriminating against me because of my whatever it is, and we don't speak up because we need our jobs.
Right. Now, let me ask you guys in response to this, because this is an actual fact out there too. More than half of whites, 55%, say that they, generally speaking, feel that there is a discrimination against white people in America today.
Which is why you have to have policies.
Yes.
And the policies, you know, I think the best way that we were actually attacking diversity is by looking at the population, looking at seeing how many do you have here, what's the percentage of that. So then you look at a company and say, do you even have this type of percentage? So that would help. That's what
That would help
affirmative
from the
action was
get-go.
about. Exactly.
Start off with having
When you're
a diversified
building
company.
your company and you're
Right.
building your corporate, you know, how important it is to look at that and that you're hiring that way versus reacting later and being
and then
like,
firing and bringing it.
Yeah. Now
exactly.
you got people up here mad and upset and everything. It's just too much. They'll
it is
figure it
too
out.
much.
They have to pay all this
Eventually
money.
they will.
They're gonna figure it out.
Trust me.
Absolutely.